All right, this meeting is being called to order at 5:13 p.m. Now I'm going to read the land acknowledgement. Niagara Region and Grimsby are situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Haudenosaunee-Wendouraq, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The regional municipality of Niagara and the town of Grimsby stands with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, and promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none. All right, moving on to the approval of the agenda. Can I please get a mover and seconder to approve the agenda? Okay. Moved by Member Potter, seconded by Councillor Frake. Resolved that the August 10th, 2023 Planning and Development Committee agenda be approved. All in favor? That carries. Okay, next moving on to the receipt of the previous minutes. Can I please get a mover and seconder to receive the previous minutes? Moved by Member Potter. Oh, sorry.
Yes, so I'll move it.
Moved by Member Drew, apologies, seconded by Councillor Frake. Okay, Drew. Resolved that the July 19th, 2023 Planning and Development Committee minutes be received. All in favor? Okay, that carries. Okay. There are no delegations, presentations, or consent reports, so we're moving on to discussion reports. We have report PA 2326 to consider. Can I please get a mover and seconder to get this item on the floor for discussion? Okay. Moved by Member Potter and seconded by Member Drew. Okay. All right. Is there anyone from planning that would like to start us off?
Good evening, everybody. Again, this is a quarterly report that planning committee or planning staff prepare for the benefit of council and planning committee members. It essentially identifies the activity of ongoing planning applications, including plans of subdivision, zoning amendments, site plan applications, and so on. There's also at the end a summary of how many building permits we've considered so far this year, and a list of Niagara Escarpment development permit applications. I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody has with regard to any of the items that are in the report.
Any questions? Member Drew?
Thank you. Through the chair, you've noted the additional meetings, pre-meetings that have been held, 22 I believe was the number, and a fairly significant current construction on all of the others that are noted. Are there infrastructure issues that are pending or that need to be addressed in order to accommodate what's currently on the slate and those that we anticipate coming in the next year?
No, through you, Chair, no infrastructure issues have been identified. There are infrastructure projects that are ongoing that have been considered in the past and are approaching approval and construction phase. One of them is the Casablanca improvements that are to be done by the region. I think those are scheduled to start next year. There's also a Downtown Reimagined project that we have which involves I think a water main replacement, and that will also include, which is part of a grant that's we received from the province, but will also involve what we hope is some significant improvements to the downtown core, sidewalks, landscaping, roads, and whatnot. And that's something that will come forward in the near future. Hopefully in September, something will come forward to council on that, in that regard.
Thank you.
Member Potter.
Oh, thanks, Walter. Just one minor thing and then one question, I guess. Just a typo, as far as I know from reading previous minutes of name changes and recognizing the history of Grimsby. But under your number 44, I believe Sobie is S-O-B-I-E, as opposed to the shop name type equivalent, but just a consistency. Secondly, it's not on, I don't think it's on the list, and there's a lot of information on the list, obviously. And I don't quite understand the process and protocol here, but with regard to the existing West Lincoln School, where is planning on the future of that site? When does it is going to get released by DSBN, or what's happening in the background there?
You're referring to Grimsby Secondary School?
It's actually been renamed to West Lincoln as of a year ago, but yes, it's West Niagara, sorry, wrong name. But yes, the old Grimsby Secondary.
Yes, the old Grimsby Secondary School, West Niagara Secondary School. Once the new West Niagara School is occupied, it's my understanding that before the school board can declare it surplus, they have to wait a year when it's vacated. So I'm not sure what specific plans they have for it, for the school at this time, but we've had ongoing discussions with the school board staff regarding that site over the last year. But again, they would need to decide what their plans are for the site. Okay.
Councillor Frake.
Thank you, Mayor Jordan. Just a couple of questions, just simple questions, just clarifications really more than anything else. Item 3 on the planning touch point, the 3-story building with the 20 units that were going to be built on the old police station lot. I see the file has been inactive since 2021. Is there there's no movement on that? I heard they were coming back. They called me, actually, said they were going to come back with a revised time frame around this. Have they come back to you yet, or is it still just an inactive file?
No, we haven't received any correspondence from them recently. So again, it was the original applications were made by the owner of the property, which I believe is Reinders. There was an appeal to the Ontario Municipal Board. The Ontario Municipal Board made a decision with regard to the zoning of the site. And then it sat inactive for a significant period of time. And it appeared as though a nonprofit organization had an interest in the site and provide some housing on the property. And those are the people that we've been dealing with most recently. And I'm assuming that's who you've talked to recently?
Christian Horizons, yeah. I spoke to someone from Christian Horizons.
Christian Horizons, yeah. Yes, that's correct. So, but we haven't had discussions with them recently. It was my understanding that they're still looking for the appropriate amount of grant programs that may be available to help them finance the project.
Okay. The item 10, the controversial, I guess that's the controversial Hemp on Kemp. I think it is. Catano Holdings. That went to OLT, I believe. 16 Kemp?
West? Yeah, that's not the
That's a different spot.
Is that a different one?
That's the public storage.
Ah, okay, wrong one, okay. Homes by DeSantis, number 11, this is the one, is that the one that's down by the fifth wheel? No, sorry,
Just Majestic. Without a-
wrong one, sorry. My apologies. It's number 13. Is that particular, that, I believe they're already doing some work on the shoreline there? That's item 13, the Lizani Homes.
Yes, correct. They did get approval from the ministry as well as the Conservation Authority for the shoreline revetment work. It's close to completion. The last time I was by there was a week and a half ago, and the revetment wall was about halfway up the slope. So, yeah, that's an integral requirement of the development of that site.
And when I passed, but I thought I saw some work being done beside the bridge, that steel bridge that goes across the creek there. Is that what they're doing, or is someone else doing work there?
Park. That's,
Oh, it's parks, is it? Okay.
That's the park, the waterfront park.
Okay, because I know
plan.
there's a whole lot of construction going on down there. So that's us.
Yeah, that's a town project where there is a park redesign for east of Casablanca, the central beach,
Yes,
and then there's the one to the west at Place Polonaise Drive.
yes.
The construction started in the east end, and they're working their way west. I think they're just doing the easterly beach and the central beach.
Okay.
So everything east of the bridge.
So do you have any idea so once Lizani finishes his work on the shoreline, are they ready to go with that particular development? I mean, are there any issues around it or anything that's we should know about? I like hearing rumors in the community, but I mean, that's why I wanted you to clarify it. Are they ready to go with that?
Yes, we're putting putting the finishing touches on the engineering review of the subdivision. So there's several applications regarding that site. There's an official plan amendment, zoning amendment, and a subdivision, draft plan of subdivision approval. The zoning and official plan have been all completed. The draft plan of subdivision was draft approved, subject to a bunch of conditions. They're working their way through the conditions, and I anticipate that they'll make a submission for final approval in the very near future. One of the main issues is the engineering design of the subdivision itself, so which essentially is to divide the property into a public road,
Right.
parkland. There's a hazard where the water course is that runs through the middle of the property, and then there's 3 or 4 blocks within that will be subject to site plan approval at a later date. So right now we're working on the subdivision portion. So the detailed engineering design of the road, the grading of the park, the grading of the creek, the shoreline revetment, and the design of the public road in front of the site, which is the South North Service Road. Okay. So we're anticipating that in the very near future, they'll be in a position to register the subdivision, creating the lots and blocks and the road. And then once that's done, they'll be able to submit a site plan application for the individual blocks.
Okay. Item 26 is a quick question. 2 Livingston Avenue, redevelopment of the former gas station site. That site has been kind of left, at least the gas station piece has been left idle. There's been no real action along there for a long, long time, except I think that there's a pizza place in there now, I believe. So is that gas station still to be built? Is that still going to open, or have they gone on to some other kind of development there?
So, one Livingston, is it? Or two Livingston?
Number 2, yeah, it's.
Two Livingston is at the northwest corner of, it's the vacant lot at the
Yeah.
northwest corner of Patton Street and Livingston Avenue.
Okay.
That's the development that's referenced in the report.
Yes,
The other one you're referring to is on the northeast corner of those two streets?
yeah, this says here the redevelopment of the former gas station site. So
Yeah.
that's where the
Yeah,
gas.
it was a former Petrocan.
It was.
There- There's another gas station right at the other
Okay,
corner,
that was
yeah.
before my time, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Item 38, 502 Winston Road. I assume that is the piece, the tract of land that was taken out of the green belt. And I believe that's New Horizons, is it not? 502 Winston Road?
Yes, that's an official plan amendment application that was made a while ago to change the designation from good tender fruit to agricultural,
So the application may be.
based on the province's amendment to the Greenbelt Plan to change the designation of that site from good tender fruit to towns and villages designation in the Greenbelt Plan. I would anticipate that that particular application to the town, and a similar one was made to the region, would be withdrawn, as I've noted in the report.
Okay. And that's it for me. Thank you.
No further questions, because everyone's asked them. Moved by Member Potter, second by Member Drew. Resolved that report PA 2326, planning touch point dated August 10th, 2023, be received for information. All in favor? That's carried. There's no correspondence this month. Any other new business from members of the committee?
I'm good.
Seeing none, the next Planning and Development Committee meeting is scheduled for September 6th, 2023 at 5 PM. I better make a note of that. Meeting is adjourned.